Yeah, otherwise. No, that one will get me tagged.
Yeah, I've got a 7-year-old lady. She's in college. I am a single resident. They're required to do it. I do my duplexes. Higher than that. Here problems here and there. Okay. I'm going to call the meeting order. We'll start with pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mochler.
Here.
Graylow.
Here.
Brady.
Here.
Hughley.
Here.
Gilbertson.
Here. Any conflict of interest declarations? Hearing none. Approval of agenda.
So I'd like to move to approve with one addition, just a very brief discussion of library funding.
We have to remove the amendment. A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Approve minutes.
Moved. Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Any visitors to be heard that aren't on the agenda? Dick's not on yet, is he? No. Is he gonna be?
He didn't know for sure.
Or do you want to?
I was gonna jump in for him.
Yeah, yeah.
You guys ready?
I didn't know if we needed to wait for him. Or...
Only I can do it.
It's always on.
You're gonna be great.
Tyler Flatley, Tager Group. So back last year, the commission hired Tager to get work on design build process for the commission. You guys have a number of smaller projects in there that it maybe not make sense to do a full on construction manager at risk. But this way it gives you some clarity and some control over the process. I know you guys got a briefing on this from the state attorney last week, so I don't want to rehash anything. I just want to, there's a couple things that you want to point out in the policy that we worked on. There's one requirement that is missing in there, so I want to make sure to add that before we take any action on it. But other than that, it's very as straightforward as this statute can be. To me, it's a bit convoluted and unnecessary, but I didn't write it. What it requires you all to do is to pass this procurement policy to set up how you go about doing all this work. Once you have that in place, then you have to submit a request for or publish a request for qualifications for the design build firm. Once you get those in, you get at least 3. Then you submit those 3 proposals, those 3 qualified firms. You ask them to submit their proposals. From there, you evaluate and select. There is a carve out in this law that says you don't have to do the RFQ process. I can't find any definitions for those different parts, so I would say that's up to you and your interpretation of that, where you can deviate from the request for qualifications part. This does add publication costs to you guys, time delay. So there's room to avoid that. That might be something worth exploring. That being said, you have questions for me.
What if you don't have 3 qualified?
I think that's just the target. I would have to reread it, but I don't
According
think
to this,
there's-
it sounded like you just take.
you get what
have all.
yeah, that's sort of the best.
Yeah, that's how I understand it as well. Yeah, and I mean, I'm kind of inclined to like the request for qualifications because it just ensures that we're working with those we want to be working with. I mean, I'm sure that I can find a situation where maybe we find it unnecessary depending on the size of the project. When we're talking the 2 that are really kind of in the, that are pending on us, we probably want to ensure that we feel like we go through that process, make sure that we feel like we're working with 3 potential qualified, construction companies who start soliciting bid term request for us.
Yeah, one thing I was wondering about is whether, so with the pre-qualification, if can we do like one pre-qualification step for all building projects like of a certain category and then just be like, yes, we've got 5 companies and all 5 of these companies have passed our pre-qualification and then just do the rest of the process from that and just say, well, these people have already demonstrated that or we need to renew that every time that you have a new project because it's project specific.
I want to say it would probably be project specific.
Okay, all right.
Because new people might come in.
And you might, okay, so that way you make sure you give a chance
Circumstance
and
and
we
change
change.
that firm.
That too.
But if firms gone through it once, then at least they already have their package ready. They wouldn't have to do extra work and it might be a little easier for us then, I guess.
And then you may find yourself in a position where those exclusions may apply.
And I imagine that we're gonna end up, the state utilizing this as well, and so they require qualifications, I read through there, I think it's very similar, so I imagine anybody who's worked with the state before through the design build process will have what's necessary to start working with Lake County as well.
How much alignment do we have between this agreement and the state's version of this?
I looked at both of them, I think they're pretty much on par with one another, did you utilize the states at all?
I didn't, I used Rapid City and Box Elder as kind of templates.
There are a couple typos in Cotton City.
Yeah,
They
is there,
get swapped out,
okay, I'll
somewhere in here.
search for that too.
There's, if I understand correctly, with pre-qualifications, there's some steps in there that we won't have to do the pre-qualifications. I don't remember what they are, because I read this a week ago. But if we did a pre-qualification, there were some of these steps towards the back. But, we would have to do.
Guess I can't answer that specifically, but I think to the state attorney's point, most of the people that you're going to be sending these to know what they're doing on this part of the system for you in this group. The value here is that once you get this RFQ sort of template, an RFP template, it's kind of rinse and repeat. You just change the project description, scope, send it out again. Unless as you work through it, you probably learn, well, we want to change how we score this, and you can change that each time to kind of assign value of these certain parameters.
But that was another little thing that mentioning the weighting business, the math in there isn't actually quite right. Just needs like a little, so this is section 9.3. So you're gonna divide each firm's proposed price by the qualitative score given by the committee to obtain a proposal score, or maybe if one does that, then the graphic here that's provided isn't quite right. It's just off by a factor of 100. So you have to divide that, make that a percentage or something. But not a big deal, but just like.
So that was, I thought the same thing. I took this, I actually did it differently. Okay, you know what, I'm gonna take it exactly how Rapid City and others have done it.
You still get the same ranking.
We get the same number, but you're right, there's 3 zeros added together. And maybe that's just a little explanation.
Yeah, or, you could say, the qualitative score is a percentage, or, or as divide the qualitative score by 100 or something like that.
I thought I thought that was misleading, because the public will see, what, 7.67 million?
Yeah.
No, that's the score we get when we do some math. The
Yeah,
actual
almost
score
better to
is-
just drop a dollar sign and just make it a number,
That's correct.
And in fact, then if you did that, you could just change this last column over here and then just have everything the way it is and just have.
That's it.
And Michael and I talked about this, where you've got the bids, then you have to open them, but that's gotta be open to the public meeting, right? Because the bids are gonna go to the committee,
Yes.
but how do we open them here?
The way I understand it is the committee gets them, scores them, and brings their score to us. That part is off to me as well. I think my suggestion is, the way it's proposed is that all the go to the facilities manager. I think it makes more sense for all of it to go to the auditor, not that the auditors need more work to do. But that way it keeps him neutral. If you agree that he should be on that review, keeps him neutral. All the bids and everything go to the auditor's office, and then they take care of the process of numbering them and making sure that they are scored the way that they're, or not scored, but make sure they're tracked the way they're scored.
as a committee, we're not supposed to know who the contractor is. They're just assigned a letter or a number or something.
Right.
I'm not allowed to.
That would,
First opinion.
But it does, I mean, Travis and I spoke about it, and that was my thought too, is I looked through it, my proposal on my notes was to change that to the auditor as well.
Yeah.
But the question becomes, is it proper to have the auditor open that outside of an open meeting? Because there will be a member of the commission also on that meeting, so it's not even like, you can say, hey, don't look at don't be present when that's open, so you can stay anonymous to who the bidders are, because someone on this commission is gonna be on the committee, so if we were to open it in commission, you know, I don't know how we keep the anonymous.
How do you,
Anonymous.
how can you, don't we have to open those bids in open meeting?
Yes. I'm almost sure you do.
I feel like the answer is traditionally yes. I think here's where perhaps we can utilize someone from either a place like Box Elder or the state engineer, figure out how they've done this.
Well,
Because
yeah, I was just wondering, like, because I had to review again here, but at that point, is it just math? Like, when you open the price proposals, you just take those numbers, at that point, it doesn't, it needs to be anonymous up until that point, but then you open it, and then like, the next step is you just divide it by the score, and then you get this new thing, so.
Yeah, but somebody's gonna have to go through it.
And make sure that it is a responsible price proposal.
right,
Right, but I mean, you're gonna open up those packets from somebody that's doing this, somebody, I mean, somewhere along the line, we always have to open them in a public meeting.
Yeah.
When we're asking for a proposal, 'cause
Yes.
otherwise that's like, that's where people start yelling about backdoor politics.
Yeah.
And you're saying, but the rubric,
Yeah, so like, at that point.
we haven't done anything,
We open them up and we just like look at the number on there and we can divide it by that.
but there is no number until we go through it. I mean, you're gonna open them, you're gonna say who they're from. That's what usually happens.
Yeah,
We're trying to,
but
this proposal is, we're skipping that step almost.
because it seemed, and maybe I was misinterpreting, but I was thinking that the price proposal isn't anything more essentially than a number. It's just their bottom line, like this is the maximum cost that this is going to have. And so it's just, so you're just opening it, you're looking at a number, we could do that in real time in a meeting. And then you divide it by this score, and then that gives you your final number. But like, it's not a detailed breakdown of costs or anything like that. It's just a ceiling for what their work is gonna cost.
I don't
Am I getting that right?
But when we open them, there's gonna be a name attached to it.
Yeah.
And when we open them in here, then that's public knowledge.
Yeah.
And somebody can go, who is this? And we have to provide that to them.
I agree. I think that then the question for me becomes, okay, so yes, that price proposal becomes, I think that is correct. But when we're working through the factors and like the penalization of those, what the committee can look at that really hasn't been disclosed in open meeting, that the committee can then independently look at anonymously, is that what we're trying to accomplish? Or that's kind of what I.
That was what I was interpreting, yeah. So all the detailed stuff that it takes some time to go over is in their qualitative proposal and their management plan. And their price proposal is just top dollar that this is gonna cost, it's gonna be this amount or less.
Yeah.
And so,
I feel like this answer is probably simple, it's just a matter of talking to the right people to get it done. So the state uses this process, for a lot of their work, and so I feel comfortable speaking, I can have a conversation with Stacey Waters, from the state engineer's office and see how they feel about doing that, because if they're not violating those meeting laws, that they're ensuring that everything is legitimate, but there's gotta be a way, they're utilizing this process.
Yeah.
So how do we do that? I think that's, looking at it on paper, I think it's just, until we've done it, it's gonna be difficult to kind of understand. I think once we work through it once or twice, we'll feel very comfortable with it. It's just a matter of figuring out the logistics, working out the things.
I'll revise that, I'll make sure that say Box Elder, Rapid City.
yeah, there was one other place, one other place I caught, section 7, no. Yeah, section 7, but then the numbering goes a little weird. Okay, so we've got section 7, subheading 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the next page, we've got 2, 3, 4, 5. So that actually wasn't the typo that I was noting, but using that on the second page of section 7, number 3, bottom line, you've got, at a minimum, design builders, so identify each person to whom the design builder promotes the sublet design application, general construction application, this individual may only be replaced with the appropriate of the county. So we just needed to like approval or something like that.
Yep. I've got that.
There may be others, but
That was on page 4, right?
yes.
I got it,
that's page 4.
I got that under that too.
And then I agree with you, I think we changed, yeah, I think for now, we probably plan on moving away from facilities manager, since he's one of the people on the committee, we didn't want to have him on it. We would want to switch that over, I think probably as well, to start.
And it does seem like that's not a huge amount of duties. Basically, you get like 3 packets. You're right, like 1, 1, 1 on all of them. So you don't have your names on.
Give it to-
Bids usually all come to me anyway, so.
Yeah, the implementation piece is very much fun. Nothing.
I think it's got a good balance of like a lot of clarity and formality and flexibility where it's helpful. You know, you got a little flexibility on how big our technical review committee is, you got a lot of flexibility on what our technical criteria. So, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and I think for as, you know, unique as this law is, there's a lot of do this or as the commission sees fit. So it gives you some flexibility. Yeah. To say, okay, well, we can do it.
Any other questions?
You guys have a timeline on this? Obviously, sooner the better, but I want to just so I know.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Should we try to approve it at the next meeting or?
that my thought was hoping to have this, approved soon so that we can then start implementing it. 'Cause I imagine we need to figure out how to work out the things, have some conversations. The committee might want to have conversations with folks from Rapid City, Von Elder, or like the state who have used this process before, just to make sure they feel comfortable implementing it. So I imagine the sooner we can actually, agree on what the language in this, procedure or design build procurement document should look like, the sooner then we can start trying to select these qualifications and bids. And I assume, it's all assumptions, but I assume anybody that works in the board is gonna want to do this project fall, winter, but then probably want to start this process as fast as possible to get it on.
Scott, do you know, does Brian Lewis use this?
I don't know. Let's call and ask him. Knows the man very well, once spoke to him once, yeah.
Oh, I can call him too.
You can hear my call right now. I need to build out the relationship, yeah, I'll get Brian a call, get his number.
Are we the first county to implement one of these or?
I don't know. I worked for Minnehaha County for 3 years, and most of that was design, bid, build. Those were small projects like the one in the courthouse. So it's the first I've seen it, and at the county level, I can't imagine it's the first time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. Vouchers. We get to see the pages.
Yes.
What kind of things?
And the new ones that came yesterday.
Yep, and that actually was, so the reason why I wanted to put a library out there was I did just have a quick question about vouchers, the ones that just came in. There were some library, they were listed as library quarterly allocations, and one appeared to be a quarterly allocation, but the other 2 appeared to be annual allocations.
Right,
Just
so
making
our
sure I got that
policy is if it is $1,500 or less for the year.
Yep.
That we pay it all in one lump sum. If they get more than $1,500 in the year, then we pay quarterly.
Okay. Thank you.
Was that the library discussion you wanted to do? or-
No, I had a little bit of further discussion about that, so.
Okay.
So I move to approve vouchers.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion passes. Appoint a commission representative to the Connet Development Corporation. That's what you wanted to do that, Kevin?
If you're happy, I would be willing to. I did talk to Katie again yesterday just to be sure they were involved with this. Yes, they were happy to have their presentation, so maybe next Wednesday. If you let me know, glad to go.
But ain't Kevin Brady.
Second.
A motion and a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion passes. And that'll have to get added to our annual appointment list.
They've been doing it for 10 years, and yes, so.
Declare the courthouse lawnmower surplus to be passed to the fair board for the fairgrounds.
I move to declare the courthouse lawnmower surplus, passed to the fair board for the fair.
A motion and a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion passes. Revisit the personnel manual revisions regarding maximum vacation period.
Okay, so at the last meeting, we changed it so that the 160 hours maximum would reset every month. I probably jumped the gun a little bit there. I should have checked with Pulaski first. And as it turns out, when I got on a Zoom call with them and started looking through the different screens to change some of these things, they only have the option of doing it every 6 months or annually. And so the department heads kind of consensus was to do it every 6 months and instead of monthly, since we can't do that. So, I mean, we probably, if we really wanted to, probably could pay them to reprogram that, but that just seems like an expense that we don't need to do.
Entertain a motion on that.
I'll move to revise our policy to 6 months.
Motion and a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion passes. Anything for Clay County Park?
No.
Anything you think for the court or for the new law enforcement, do you have any updates really?
No changes really in terms of timeline since our last meeting. Things are progressing, moving fast inside. Cement block walls where we've had a lot of open space are now starting to fill in. Still a lot to go. The cement block goes slow. Really, no changes or decisions to make. We've got furniture scheduled to be delivered July 1. Things are coming together.
No jurisdiction, anything? No, sir. Any other commissioner reports? We do have a meeting next Tuesday night with the city for joint jurisdiction. And then you want the library?
Yeah, just very briefly, I just, when I saw the vendor numbers come through, I was surprised to see the Vermillion Public Library quarterly allocation at $500. I was expecting it to be $1,000. And so then I had to go back and look at why I thought that in the previous budget. And so the budget we approved for this year, that is accurate. We approved $2,000 for the Vermillion Public Library, but the discussion I wanted to have was that the one request that I saw in the budget was from the Vermillion Public Library for $4,000. And just admitting I try to never make little errors and oversights, but that was an error and oversight on my part. I would have strongly advocated for the $4,000 for the Vermillion Public Library, and then the $2,000 to the at least $2,000 to the Wakanda and Beersford Library. So in the previous budget, we had $8,000 in that line item. We had $4,000 in that item this year. So at seeing that $4,000, I had thought that we were approving the Vermillion Public Library for their full request. I think it's a very reasonable request. So I just wanted to share that with folks. I think that at this point we've approved the budget. And, I think that I certainly would not want to take the funding away from those small libraries. I think it's more impactful for them. But just wanted to share with others that I will intend to really advocate for getting back up to the 4,000 for the public library coming year. It's a really good value. Yankton County pays something like $30,000, and the deal they get is that their out of city residents get half price library cards. We get free ones. We were paying what the per capita usage. We paid something a lot more than that. The city of Vermillion actually pays the vast majority of the budget in the public library. So I think it's a very important service, and I just wanted to put that in there because if others, you know, we're expecting to see $4,000 for the public library. You might have been surprised that the allocation was smaller than that. So just wanted to share my thoughts on that. So that is all. No changes to anything this time, but when we're considering next year's budget, I think that would be important. So.
Anybody have anything else? Can we go into executive session? I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session for legal.
Move to go into executive session for legal matters. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All same sign, motion passes. We're in executive session. You shut the door then, Tiffany. I'll entertain a motion to come out of executive session. So moved. Second. A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All same sign. We're in regular session. Anybody have anything else? I will not be at the next meeting on the 25th. But Dave? I'm sick. But I'm sick.
Come on, you argued for this. You want to be the vice chair.
The only other bad thing
Shine.
is ditch board is that day too. Dave.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
So are you the vice chair of ditch board as well? How's that
Ryan
work?
Rainey on the Yanks, I don't have to run it.
Okay.
Carrie, I don't know if you have yet. Let Patty know that he needs to run it.
Ditch board is the 25th.
Yep. That one.
This is gonna be an interesting ditch board with no Travis. We're gonna see how little we know.
I'll give I'll try and get something printed up for Carrie.
All right.
I'll get her something. I don't know how it's gonna be. What the FEMA stuff is, the timeline. Because they're gonna ask you when you're cleaning it out.
Okay.
That's gonna be the big focus.
Okay. Do you wanna like do a little summary of things you expect to come before us and anything else?
Yeah, that's what
That'd be really good. And then also I know Eagle View has got a map layer that Jake put together, I think, that's got all the ditches labeled, right? Is that right? Am I getting that right? Is that right?
Well, Yankton County usually brings their map, shows, it doesn't have the laterals.
All right.
I don't think.
I'll see if I can figure that out, if I can share it with you guys, because that is something that I found really challenging sometimes. And it seems to be challenging to every single person in the room. It's like, which exact ditch are we talking about? Which lateral A or lateral B? And the A's sort of south and the B's are north, or maybe it's the other way around, or. So, yeah,
It's,
hopefully that'll help people.
B is on the north side, A is on the south side.
There you go.
And that's the,
Yeah.
I've never understood that.
All right, well, why do the roads get smaller? Anyway, yeah. That was weird, but, yeah. Fun, well, that'll be fun.
You have a motion to adjourn?
Oh, I haven't yet. I'll entertain one.
Move to adjourn. Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All same sign. We're adjourned. Thank you.